I started, I've been doing syndicated radio now for about 15 years. I was a local guy, right? And about 14, 15, 16 years ago, I started talking about something on the air. And nobody had ever talked about it, and some people said it was ridiculous and absurd, and people wrote articles about it. And I said, you ever notice that there's a lot of quarterbacks in the history of football? A lot of the best quarterbacks are really handsome, like would walk into a room full of men, and you'd be like, oh, that guy's really handsome. Obviously there's some Brett Favre guys out there, but like there's quarterback position more than any other position. And I started getting calls. And back then, emails from NFL guys saying, hey, I like your show. You talk a lot of football. And there's something we call quarterback face. And it is a real thing. We're looking for confidence. Yes, an arm. Yes, you started for 3 years in college. Yes, all the requisite skills. NFL scouts call it quarterback face. And Jimmy G has the league's best quarterback face. My wife doesn't watch a lot of sports. She goes, boy, San Francisco's good. Who's their quarterback? And I showed her a picture of Jimmy G on my phone. She goes, oh, my God. Oh, my Lord. He looks like a quarterback. And I said, yes, it's called quarterback face. And it matters. And he reminds me of a young Tom Brady, who we said, well, he's got a coach. Brady's got Belichick and a defense and a running game. But there was an it quality to Tom Brady. And that it to me was always confidence. And I know it sounds absurd, but he was so great on third down last night. And third down in the NFL for a quarterback is not only the money down, it's the confidence down. Garoppolo is great on third down. He plays cocky. He goes for it. And I know it sounds absurd, but I started talking about this years ago. And if you look like Jimmy G and walked into rooms from 15 years old until 28 years old, I don't even have to ask Joy. I can figure it out. You'd feel pretty darn good about yourself. You'd turn heads. And look at baseball. Look how many great players go into hitting slumps. They don't forget how to hit. They lose their confidence. Look how many great golfers get what they call the yips. They don't forget how to chip and putt. They lose their confidence. Derek Jeter used to always say, I don't want a lot of things negatively swimming in my head during a baseball season. I want to go to the plate and feel good about the game and feel good about myself. It's easy to feel good about yourself when you look like Jimmy G. And last night on third down, I'm watching him, and I'm like, God, he plays. I mean, the guy's only started like 18 games. He plays with so much confidence on third down, 86% completion percentage, 153 passer rating. You go back to the Dallas Cowboys. If you look at their franchise quarterbacks, it's, Aikman and Staubach and Dak and the square jaw and the Tony Romo. It's like, and then the Niners all-time quarterbacks, Joe Montana, Steve Young, and Garoppolo, Drew Bledsoe, and Tom Brady. And I grew up in Seattle. All the girls love Jim Zorn, and then it's Russell Wilson. There's a confidence thing. When you're a handsome guy, it's called quarterback face. You walk into a room, high school, college, you walk in and guys are like, that's the guy. On the recess, on the playground in 7th grade, who gets the ball? The popular boy. Who's popular on the playground? The girls think he's cute. The guys think he's cool. It's called quarterback face. And I told my wife last night, her initial reaction was, oh, my God, he looks like a quarterback. And I'm like, it's funny how that works. You think it's nuts. Now, I'm not saying it's always works. And I'm not saying if you don't have perfect facial symmetry, you can't be great. I don't need to mention names. But it is funny. Favre into Rodgers into Montana into Brady into Russell Wilson. I watched Garoppolo last night. He plays with so much confidence for a guy who hasn't started very much. And much like Brady, when Brady came into the NFL, all we talked about was his coach, just like Kyle Shanahan, his defense, just like the Niners. And, they run the ball at will, just like the Niners. And it's like, no. There's an it quality. And by the way, you got to have by and large, you want to be about 6'2" in the NFL. Exceptions, obviously. You want to have the requisite mobility arm, obviously. You want to be a 2 to 3 year starter in college, obviously. I'm not saying it's the number one box to check. But there is a box for quarterbacks, the it box, the confidence box. And I asked Jimmy Johnson once. I said, what's leadership? And Jimmy Johnson, one of the great coaches ever, goes, I don't really know what it is. Yeah, I think it's a lot of confidence among other guys. I can't really explain it, but, do you have the confidence? If you succeeded at something a lot in life, and I'm like, and Jimmy Johnson, I said with Troy Aikman, he's like, he just had Troy just was it. There's an it. And I think the it, part of it is quarterback face. That dude, he plays confident. I would too. I mean, that razor stubble, that's aftershaving. I mean, it's absurd. All right, let me shift to this. There is a player who's very talented. He has been in and out of rehab, struggled, personal struggles, Josh Gordon. Very talented. New England basically letting him go. And so now they waited a while. He'll go what they call like a waiver wire list, meaning, bad teams get the first chance at Josh Gordon. So there's a team in the NFL that may not get a shot at him. But there's a team in the NFL, I would absolutely go get him. Hey, he's imperfect. He's had relapses. There's a story in New England. His work ethic tailed off. If I'm the New Orleans Saints, you have to go get Josh Gordon. Because I got news for you. If you're the Saints, the Dallas Cowboys give you trouble defensively because you have no vertical passing threat. You have none. And you have no mobility at quarterback. So the New Orleans Saints are not getting past San Francisco's defense. Because to beat San Francisco's defense, there's only two ways to do it. Arizona showed it last night. You got to beat them over the top, and you have to have a quarterback that's mobile. So Green Bay could beat San Francisco. Aaron Rodgers can move, and they can beat you over the top. New Orleans cannot beat San Francisco. Dallas has shown you. Dallas, last two times they played the Saints, beat us over the top. We're going to go into the box, put a pass rush on Drew Brees, who's not very mobile, and stop Alvin Kamara. Saints can't score. Now, the Saints have a great quarterback, a great defense, and a great coach, and I'm not saying San Francisco would blow them out. But the Saints culture, like New England's, can certainly handle a player who's had some personal issues. Josh has. Don't know him, very talented, but, he's a guy that struggles with some things that football coaches don't love. But if you look at New England, what was the hole of their team receiver? They went out and got one at the trading deadline. San Francisco, what was the hole in their game? A veteran receiver, Emmanuel Sanders. They went and got one. What is the hole in New Orleans' game? No vertical passing threat. Michael Thomas averages 109 yards a game. Their second-best receiver, Ted Ginn, averages less than 40. They don't have a number two receiver. And they don't have any deep threat, nor do they have a quarterback who's mobile. You're not getting through San Francisco without one of those two. You got to beat them over the top, or you got to beat them with your legs at quarterback. And Kyler Murray could do both, especially the latter. He can move, buy time, outrun their defensive ends. New Orleans, this is absolutely worth the risk. You have the culture to withstand it, and he gives you a dimension you desperately need. Don't kid yourself. I mean, right now in the NFC, I like a lot of teams in the NFC. Three of them look different. San Francisco, Green Bay, and New Orleans. They all look different. New Orleans is going to have to face either both or one of those two. And if you face San Francisco with Brees' lack of mobility and no deep threat, you're not moving the football. You are not moving the football. I think Josh Gordon to the Saints makes a ton of sense.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.